The nights were still filled with heat, but something had changed in the way Maya moved against him. The way her fingers trailed over his skin felt calculated. Not instinctive, as if she were performing, not indulging. Once their passion had been effortless, electric. Now it felt rehearsed. A well-practiced deception wrapped in silk sheets and breathy moans. But Alex played along. He let her straddle him. Let her whisper his name in the dark. Let her lips press against his as if she still meant it. Desire can be faked. Lust can be a mask. And Maya was a master of both. She thought he was oblivious. That the way she lingered on her phone late at night, smiling at messages she never shared, had gone unnoticed. That he didn't feel the shift. The widening space between them disguised as indifference. She believed he was too trusting, too devoted, too weak to see the truth unraveling beneath her polished exterior. But Alex noticed everything, and while she tangled herself deeper into her web of betrayal, he was already tightening the threads around her. So he let her put on her show, because soon, the performance would be over. The message arrived without warning, a sharp disruption in the quiet hum of the morning. Alex had been sipping his coffee, flipping through emails, when a notification lit up his screen. "You're pathetic, Alex. I'm leaving you. I've taken the money, and Daniel and I are moving to Miami." Haha, the sheer arrogance of it. The mocking finality of that last haha settled in the air like a challenge. Most men might have felt their chest tighten, their pulse hammering in their ears. But Alex? He simply set his mug down, exhaling slowly as amusement curled at the edges of his lips. She really thought she had won. Maya had always been reckless, but this was a new level of audacity. She believed she had outmaneuvered him, that this single text was the finishing blow, the move that would leave him shattered and scrambling. She had no idea. The joint account she drained? A carefully placed decoy. The luxury she thought she was running off with? A mirage built on a false sense of security. The man she believed was her future? A distraction she wouldn't even want once the money ran out. Alex leaned back in his chair, fingers tapping absently against the polished wood of his desk. She thought she had played the game, but she had only played herself. He picked up his phone, typed out 2 words, and hit send. Good luck. Then, with a smirk, he called his lawyer. It was time. That night, Maya returned home as if nothing had changed. She walked through the door with the effortless confidence of a woman who believed she had won. A fresh manicure, a designer bag swinging from her wrist, luxury she'd bought with the money she thought she had stolen from him. Alex was waiting, not with anger, not with confrontation, with patience, with calculation. He leaned against the kitchen counter, watching as she breezed past him, dropping her keys on the table. She glanced his way, lips curving into something almost smug, testing him, seeing if he knew. He played along. "You look good," he murmured, stepping behind her, his hands settling lightly on her waist. Maya preened under his touch, tilting her head just enough to let him press his lips to her neck. She still wanted control, still craved the power of seduction. She had no idea she had already lost. When he pulled her against him, she sighed, soft and breathy, letting herself believe she had him wrapped around her finger. She let him strip her, let him explore her body, believing it was desire, when really it was a goodbye. Their last night together, one final performance, and in the morning, she was gone. She thought she had walked away with everything. She didn't realize she had just sealed her own fate. Maya thought she had escaped unscathed, slipping away in the early hours with her suitcase full of designer clothes and her heart set on Miami. She believed she had won, that Alex would be left reeling, blindsided, scrambling to piece together the wreckage. She saw herself as untouchable, victorious. But victory only belongs to those who understand the game. And Maya had never realized she was playing against a master. While she lounged by the airport gate, sipping a latte and dreaming of sunsets and rooftop parties, Alex was already stripping her fantasy apart, brick by brick. The joint account she had drained? A carefully orchestrated illusion, filled with just enough to keep up appearances. The luxurious condo she thought she'd live in? Never hers to begin with. Her name had never been on the deed. The credit cards she was still swiping? Already flagged for fraud. With every charge she made, she wasn't just spending money. She was stacking evidence against herself. Alex sat back in his office chair, rolling his sleeves up as he made the call. His lawyer, Philip, answered on the first ring. "It's time," Alex said simply, his voice calm, controlled. Philip chuckled. She never saw it coming, did she? Alex smirked, watching as the transaction logs updated in real time. No, she didn't. But she would soon. Maya thought she had escaped. She had no idea she was running straight into disaster. Maya stepped off the plane in Miami, her head high, her smile easy, her confidence unshaken. The warm air wrapped around her like a promise. The beginning of the new life she had crafted in her mind. Beside her, Daniel stretched, grinning like a boy on his first real adventure, oblivious to the reality waiting just around the corner. They strode through the airport like royalty, Maya leading the way, her heels clicking against the polished floor. She approached the ticket counter with the air of someone accustomed to luxury. "Reservation for Maya Sinclair," she purred, using her maiden name like it was a key to a fresh start. The attendant tapped at her keyboard, her smile professional but stiff. Then came a first crack. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but it looks like your reservation has been canceled." Maya blinked, her mind scrambling. "That's impossible. Recheck." A pause. Another keystroke. Then the words that sent a chill down Maya's spine. "Your card was declined." The latte in her hand suddenly tasted bitter. Her fingers tightened around the cup, her heartbeat quickening. She reached for her phone, her perfectly manicured nails tapping against the screen. She pulled up her banking app. The balance read 0. Beside her, Daniel frowned. "What's going on?" Maya didn't answer. For the first time, the certainty in her eyes flickered. Somewhere, miles away, Alex leaned back in his chair, watching his plan unfold. Let the games begin. Maya walked into the courtroom with the same confidence she had carried into every room she ever entered. Head high, shoulders squared, lips painted in a shade of defiance. She had always been able to talk her way out of trouble, twist the narrative, tilt the odds in her favor. This would be no different, or so she thought. Across the aisle, Alex sat calm, unreadable. A man who had already won before the first word had been spoken. Beside him, Philip, his attorney, oozed quiet confidence, a shark in a tailored suit. Maya's lawyer spoke first, spinning a tale of neglect, emotional hardship, and entitlement. He painted her as a wronged woman, a wife forced to take what was rightfully hers. Philip didn't blink. He waited, let the room simmer in Maya's delusions, then leaned forward, placing a thick folder onto the judge's bench. "Your Honor," he said smoothly, "let's talk about fraud." The air in the room shifted. One by one, the evidence was laid bare, bank records, flagged transactions, Maya's smug text messages gloating about draining the account. Each piece landed like a hammer against her carefully crafted image. Then came the final blow, the fraudulent credit card use, the hotel stays with Daniel. The proof that she had stolen from her own husband. Maya's spine stiffened, her nails digging into the table. For the first time, real fear flickered in her eyes. She had walked in expecting victory. She hadn't realized the war had already been lost. Maya stormed out of the courthouse, her heels clicking against the pavement with a force that betrayed the panic she was desperately trying to contain. Her breath came fast, uneven. Her carefully applied lipstick smudged at the corners from where she had bitten her lip in frustration. This wasn't supposed to happen. She had planned for triumph, for a smooth exit, for Alex to be left ruined in her wake. Instead, it was her world that was crumbling. Beside her, Daniel lingered a few steps behind, his hands shoved into his pockets, his expression shifting from confusion to something closer to regret. She could feel it, the hesitation radiating off of him, the realization dawning in his wide, boyish eyes. "So," he finally muttered, "you don't have any money?" Maya's head snapped toward him, rage flashing in her gaze. "Of course I do," she lied, her voice just a little too sharp, too quick. But they both knew the truth. The bank accounts were frozen. The credit cards were shut down. The money she had stolen, the lavish lifestyle she had promised him, it was all gone. Daniel sighed, shaking his head. And just like that, she knew, he wouldn't stay. Not without the perks. Not without the luxury she had lured him in with. She watched as he turned, walking away without a second glance. Maya had bet everything on her escape. And now, she had no money, no lover, and nowhere left to run. Alex didn't just win, he thrived. While Maya was left scrambling, drowning in her own mistakes, he moved forward, untouched, unbothered, unstoppable. His business flourished, his investments grew, and for the first time in years, he felt something he hadn't realized he'd been missing. Freedom. One night, at a high-end bar in the heart of the city, he met Lena. She wasn't like Maya. There was no pretense, no hidden agenda, no games. Just a woman with fire in her eyes, and a slow, knowing smile that sent a pulse of heat through his veins. She knew what she wanted, and tonight that was him. Their conversation was effortless, charged with something electric, something raw. A brush of fingers against his wrist, a playful smirk, a quiet challenge lingering in her gaze. He took her home. No emotional baggage, no lies, just skin against skin, lips tracing new territory, nails raking down his back as he reclaimed something Maya had tried to steal from him. His power, his desire, his control. Lena arched beneath him, whispering his name in the dark, and for the first time in months, he didn't think of Maya at all. The next morning, as he watched the city wake from his penthouse balcony, he checked his phone, a message from an unknown number. Maya. He didn't open it. He simply deleted it, smirking as he turned back toward Lena, still tangled in his sheets. Some women were meant to be forgotten. The message came in late, a desperate attempt at rewriting the past. Alex, I made a mistake. I didn't realize how good I had it. Please, can we talk? Alex stared at the screen, a slow smirk curving his lips. There was regret. The same woman who had laughed in his face drained his accounts and walked away as if he were nothing, now found herself clawing for a second chance. Too little too late. He imagined her, probably hunched over her phone in a dimly lit room. Her once manicured nails chipped, her designer bags long pawned off to cover the debts she had no way of repaying. Maya had spent years believing she could play men like pieces on a chessboard. She had forgotten that kings don't fall for cheap tricks. With a flick of his finger, he deleted the message without a second thought. No response. No closure. Just silence. He turned away from his phone, back to Lena, still wrapped in his sheets, stretching lazily in the morning light. She watched him with that knowing smirk, her fingers tracing the edge of the comforter. Something important? She murmured. Alex leaned down, brushing his lips against hers. Not anymore. Maya had made her choice. Now, she could live with it. He, on the other hand, had never been more alive. The grand opening of Alex's latest venture was nothing short of spectacle, sleek, polished, a reflection of everything he had built from the ashes Maya had left behind. Guests mingled beneath the warm glow of chandeliers, glasses clinking, laughter spilling into the air. He stood at the center of it all, a man untouchable, thriving. He had not just survived Maya's betrayal. He had used it as fuel, transforming what could have been his downfall into his greatest victory. His business had expanded, his wealth multiplied, and most importantly, he had reclaimed himself. A reporter approached him with a microphone, eager for insight. What's the key to success after hardship? Alex chuckled, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. Simple. Never let betrayal break you. Let it build you. As the night continued, he caught a glimpse of Lena across the room, watching him with the same heat in her eyes as the first night they met. He moved toward her, leaving the past exactly where it belonged behind him. Maya had gambled on his destruction. Instead, she became nothing more than a lesson. A whisper of a woman he no longer cared to remember. And Alex? He had already won. Betrayal isn't just about heartbreak. It's about power, control, and survival. In today's world, trust is a currency, and if misplaced, it can leave you bankrupt emotionally and financially. Always protect your assets, your independence, and your future, whether in business or love. Never put everything in someone else's hands without a safety net. Stay observant, read the signs, and never ignore your instincts. When deception strikes, don't react with anger. Respond with strategy. Success is the best revenge, and the moment you stop chasing those who betray you is the moment you truly win. Build your empire. Let them watch.